Right, we're gonna do the Friday night flashbacks, and this time, we're gonna do something that was requested by a viewer. So we're gonna do Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but I'm only gonna do the two Super Nintendo ones and one other one from the Nintendo, which I'll explain here later. Um, this was for those of you who might not know, some of you will probably remember. This is a popular TV show back in the early '90s, and it had high school kids, like teenagers that fought the forces of evil, and each of them would have a different, like they'd have a different like dinosaur type. I guess you would call it they called them Zords. They were big machines, and there was a Black Ranger, Red Ranger, Pink Ranger, Yellow Ranger, and a Blue Ranger. And like the black one had the it was a woolly mammoth. The pink one had a pterodactyl. The blue one had Triceratops. The yellow one had the saber-toothed tiger, and the red one had the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then once they put them all together, it became a big Megazord. That's what they fought. They would always fight what was known as the Putty Patrol first, before they would fight the main bad guy. See, there's all the characters right there. And the main bad character for a long time was Rita Repulsa, but it ended up being what was his name? There was Ivan Ooze at one point, and then there was like Zed. I'm going to use Jason because the person that selected this was Andrew Connor. He remembers these. He remembers the Power Rangers from back in the day, and also I believe his kids watch them as well. Which there's been a lot of different Power Ranger things since the early games. Well, since like the early games and the early TV show. This is actually based upon a Japanese show that ran way long time before it hit the States, and then it's still running, I believe, today, as a matter of fact. This game right here actually has a password feature, and that's what kind of why I like it. It's got a password feature, and also it's a pretty good beat 'em up. As you can see, my health bar is at the bottom of the screen. And what I'll be doing is I'm playing as Jason, which is the Red Ranger, which has the Tyrannosaurus. Usually I would play as Zach, which is the Black Ranger, because I like the woolly mammoth and I like the axe that he has. Each Power Ranger had their own weapon whenever they turned into the Ranger. The Black Ranger had had like an axe. The Pink Ranger had, I think it was a bow and arrow. The Yellow Ranger had a pair of size like Raphael uses on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the Blue Ranger had, I think, a staff. And I believe the Red Ranger has a sword of some sort. The Red Ranger was always taken as the leader. I'm not moving him. He's moving on his own there. And see, this would be the boss. So you do this little morphin thing with your belt, and I turn into the Red Ranger. And I have like a bomb down there that you can see I can use if I get into too much trouble. I like this game because the controls really good on it. I think it is anyway. It's a good solid beat 'em up, and it follows the TV show pretty good. And like I said, there's not much else to say about a beat 'em up, but I'm going to go through at least the first stage and fight the first boss for you. I think this is the only game where you don't get to play as like the big Megazord thing. You just fight the boss at the end of the stage as the Ranger. A little bit later on, they had a Green Ranger series that the Green Ranger was evil. He turns good after a while, and then he also switches his color to the White Ranger. So it's the same guy. As the Green Ranger, he had like a dragon, like a water dragon that would come out of the water that he could call on with a flute, and that was his Zord that he could use. Later, when he turned to the white one, he was able to use, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was some sort of tiger or a lion. I think it might have been a lion that he could use. Like I said, I'll go through the first stage here. Yeah, you can pick up and throw like park benches and things like that. There were a couple games for the Sega. I'll show you what they kind of are, but the control on them is... I tried playing them, and the control on them was kind of bad and kind of clunky. So, with it being kind of clunky, it wasn't something I wanted to show. So, like this, what I'll be showing here is this game for the Super Nintendo, and I'll be showing the Fighting Edition. I'm not going to show any of them based upon the movie, because the movie, for some reason, that game is extremely difficult. I'm not sure why. And there's really no password or save feature. I mean, I think you can use 2 players on it, but there's really no save feature or anything. It's extremely difficult, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to fight this boss right here. I can use a super move, which is that. It'll show up like that. Kind of a bummer that you don't get to fight with the Megazord on this game. And then, you'll try to beat this guy up. And if you guys hear anything, it's Oscar. He's being Oscar. Let's just put it that way. He is being Oscar. So, I'm trying to get this guy into where I can hit him a few more times than just, yeah, there we go. But you gotta watch out, because he can swing that sword at you and hit you. And then he breaks apart, and then he comes back. And this time he's only got just his legs. And, you know, Monty Python, 'tis but a flesh wound. Off of that little joke that's on that movie. And after you hit him a couple more times, he breaks apart a few more times, and then finally you have to fight just the head, and you have to just hit the head enough times that he dies. No, not too bad. And then you'll get like a password at the end of the stage. I might play through it at some point. Not tonight, but maybe at some point. But they give you a password. And then you can go to the next area. And you can pick a different ranger if you want. They really don't play different. The only difference is the weapons. But they all have the same moves and stuff like that. So we're going to go from there, and we're going to go to the second game I'm going to show you guys. See, I'm not going to do this one that's based upon the movie, because it's just too... It's difficult. It's very difficult. I will show you what it looks like, but I'm not going to play too much of it. I'm not going to play too much of this one either. This was the Fighting Edition. This was the second game I think they came out with. Maybe the third. And this one more so has the robots. I'm going to have to turn down the difficulty because I am not very good at this. Let's see what the buttons do. Attack A, attack B, attack C, attack D. Okay, well, and like with most fighting games, you do have super moves and stuff like that. On this one, you can do a story mode, a fighting mode, or a trial mode. Fighting mode is basically 1 versus 1, or like 1 versus 2 player. Trial mode is just a survival. You just keep fighting until you lose. Story mode is supposed to be a story. The thing that bugs me is they make you either pick the Thunder Megazord or the Mega Tiger Zord. And if you pick the Mega one, it's all of them with the White Ranger. But if you pick the Thunder one, it's all of them with the Red Ranger. The Thunder Megazord is more closely related to what the first Megazord was. This is where it shows them all come together. This is, I think, maybe 2nd generation Power Rangers, I believe. It might still be the 1st generation. No, it's the second. It's the second or third generation. It's one of those two. And this thing gets put together. You know, you can watch the animation if you really want to. It's if you haven't really seen it, you know, it's something different. And then you fight the other. You fight, you know, like the Zord. Big head in the background is Zordon, I think is his name. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But he's the main Power Rangers. He's like their main dude, and he talks to them and things. And he's got a helper that's named Alpha, and Alpha's a little robot that kind of sends the Power Ranger where they need to go and things like that. He's kind of the lab robot that helps. So, you know, you gotta have that. Like I said, I might play a fight or two of this, and then I'll probably show you guys what the movie one looks like, and just show you a little bit of the Sega ones, because they're almost basically all the same game. The only difference, like I said, there's the fighting edition's a little bit different. I was kind of glad they made the fighting edition, but I wish they would have done more with it, and I wish they would have done more with the remaining games. Like this is one of the bad ones off the show, named the Lip Sinker. Looks like a huge thing of lipstick that you have to fight. And there's just some other ones that you have to fight. Some of them, if you've watched the show a lot, you'll remember them. Some of them you won't. It just really depends. Let me see if I can pull off any kind of special move or anything. Yeah, like a fireball there. I don't know though. You'd have to just experiment and kind of look around with it. But yeah, that's basically how it fights and how it does. It's just your basic average tournament fighter. Not too bad. The controls are okay. They're not great, but they are. It's playable. It's very playable. That's why I can say there. It's very playable. So, we're gonna go from there though, and we're gonna go, and I'm gonna show you at least the movie. I think this was the first movie they made too. Yeah, this is the first movie that came out with. Featuring Ivan Ooze. He was the bad guy on that one. I don't know that he was the bad guy on anything else. Now, the difference on this is you can play... See, you know right off the bat you're in for a bad go, because the only two levels you can pick are normal or hard in the option mode. That's not good. So, but this one you can play two players at one time. It doesn't make the game much easier. See, they replaced the Yellow Ranger with Aisha. The Blue Ranger, that's the Green Ranger, also the White Ranger. The Red Ranger has been replaced with Rocky. Pink Ranger is still Kimberly. And the Black Ranger has been replaced as Adam. We'll go with Rocky. Tommy and Billy and Kimberly are the ones that are off of the original show or original cast. You pick up these... Yeah, you can jump in the background on this one or in the foreground. And you try to pick up as many of these lightning bolts as you can. And once you get the lightning bolts full, you can turn into... once you get the power meter full at the bottom of the stage, or at the bottom of the screen, you can turn into your chosen ranger. And but the stages on this game are so long, and like I said, there's nowhere to save. I'll go ahead and try to power up at least once. So I'll come down here and try to... And the control's really stiff. It's really stiff, and it's really hard because, like, I can move him, but they might end up getting a hit in on me. Like I said, I'm only down to like one hit left. And I don't think they replenish your strength when you turn into the Ranger. When you turn into them. I don't think it does anyway. try to find out. I'm trying not to get hit again. Press X and it'll turn you into the Ranger. Yeah, you get your life. Okay, you get your health back. You don't get a weapon. But the good thing is, some of them are a little bit weaker this time, but you're just killing some of them with one hit anyway. So, actually, you might get the weapon after you get enough lightning bolts this time too. That means get out of the way. When you see that exclamation point, that means get out the way because there's a car coming. And the Putty Patrol is just too stupid to realize it. Actually, I don't know if they're still called the Putty Patrol or not. Like I said, I quit watching the show after a while, and so some of it I don't remember real well because, like I said, I watched what we call first generation, and that was the original one. Like I told you, these stages go on forever. We ain't even out of the first stage yet, and we're still in another part of it. And this is where it starts getting a little bit nasty. See, that's another thing. They can jump right on top of you, and you can't do nothing about that. You gotta take those things out like that. Jump back here. Oh, gosh. I almost got whacked there with something. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Yeah, there we go. Well, you get to use your weapon, and you see on there where it says press start for player 2. Player 2 is available, you know, things of that nature. The game, though, it gets harder as you go along, and like I said, the stages are longer. I forgot that you can actually jump on that food sign in the background and hang from it and kick the things. I forgot that you can do that. And now I don't remember how I can do that. Never went that, huh? Now you can't jump into the background. You go up the escalator. I really didn't think I was going to play too much of this, but doing a little bit better than I was the other day. But you see how long these stages are. It's just ridiculous amount of time. So, there's 6 different levels, mid-level bosses, and of course end bosses. You know, you can only do just that stuff. Let's go to the Sega Genesis, the Mega Drive here. I'm going to show you the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers they had. See, I had a Nintendo growing up, so I only know a lot of... Well, I know a lot of the Nintendo. I had friends that had Segas, but sometimes they played some of the games. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes you couldn't find them. There's 2-player battle mode. There's a 1-player scenario mode. This one, I think, is just a 2-button fighter, normal and fierce. I'm not even going to read the story. I'm just going to pick the Ranger. This is first generation again. Pick your Ranger. And you fight. And you fight the bad guy with 2 buttons. And as you can see, it's very... it's not horrible, but it's not very good either. And yeah. I had to put him on easy because I can't play the game well enough to actually beat him. I look like I'm the Pink Ranger instead of the Red Ranger. The music is not that good either. You can't hardly even hear it, and it's really not that good. Now, this is the only time you really get to fight in the Megazord. The Megazord is the original Zord machine that you've seen off of the first ones. This is the one that we remember. You know, my age group remembers of this, or people that that have went back and watched the show, this is what you remember. This is what the first one for the Super Nintendo should have had on it, and it lacks. Now, it gets a little bit better when you fight with the Zord. You know, what Rita would always do, and then, yeah, he does a finishing maneuver. What Rita would always do is she would throw her staff down through there, and it would make the monster big. And then you had to call upon the Zords, and then they had to control. See, there's the Green Ranger when he was a bad guy. You end up, I think you have to fight him next. Yeah. E Green Ranger, which means evil Green Ranger. So, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of what that was about. Now they made the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie kind of like the Super Nintendo one. The only difference is, though, the Super Nintendo one is actually kind of beatable. This one, it's beatable, but it's much harder than the Super Nintendo version. And the stages and stuff are not the same. I think the 2-player option is still there. I don't think, yeah, you can make it easy, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. Pick 1 player. I like how they kind of pronounce this stage 1. And as you can see, it's the 2nd generation of Rangers. The blue, the red, the blue, the white, and the pink are the only ones that have stayed the same character. So you pick your character, and I think you can change them during the stages too. That's like a special move. This is the one where you can move up, down, left, and right and stuff. Now, I went through the first stage of this, and it took me a while to get through it. And really, the only things I was fighting were these, I don't know, I guess you call them ooze man, I think is what they're called. I had to defeat all kinds of these things just to move on to the next area. And I mean, yeah, you got your weapon, but good luck if you can use it. This game, choppy. The control is very difficult. I mean, it looks like I'm doing pretty good with it, but the control is really, really awful. And these things try to grab you like that and then try to drain some life from you. But you see how many I've done had to fight. It's a ridiculous amount. And it took my life up. See, I still gotta fight more. Gosh. And if you're punching one of them, you can't turn around real quick and hit the other one. Plus all the scenery looks the same, and gosh, that music's just terrible. Yeah, you can jump at least on here. See, and then you just fight more of them. And just the stages were so long, I didn't even try to even get through it. Because I just kind of got fed up with it. So, you know, but that one's a 2-player one. It's kind of like the other one. There might be, it might tell you how many. It even says the vilest villain in Nintendo history. 7 levels. 7 levels. And it's talking about the Super NES as well. So it's talking about like Nintendo, and it's not even on the Nintendo. It's on the Mega Drive. The last one I want to show you is kind of interesting because I kind of ran up on it by pure accident. It's called, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Shojin Sentai Jetman. Super Sentai is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in Japan. That's what it is in Japan. So we're gonna play on easy. It has a password. The good thing about this one is it allows you to pick a stage that you want to go to first. So that's different. Now, what's different though is, and they seem to be almost more birds. It's the yellow owl, the blue swallow, the red hawk, the white swan, or the black condor. And each of them have like a wing gauntlet, bird blaster, bringer sword, bird blaster, or bringer sword again. and some of them have a little bit more light and more health than the other ones. So, Jason said that the ranger that the boys liked was either the red one or the green one. I don't have the ability to play as the green one, so red was the next choice. This is loosely based upon the, like I said, the Japanese Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'll play through maybe a stage of it. I don't think the stages are that long. It's different than what we're used to in the States. Like I said, even what they're called are, you know, the Rangers and stuff, and their weapons and things are a little bit different here in the States than what they are in Japan. I'm not sure what that does. It's probably like a superpower move or something. I don't know. Select pauses the game. Okay. Okay, that's what that does. It starts and it kind of defeats stuff on the screen. I probably should have saved that, but I'm not going to be playing it that long anyway. This game on easy is not... It's not awful. And like I said, I may play through it at one point too. I don't know. Because it's not a bad game, and like the other one, it has a password system, which is nice. But you have to know where some of this stuff is, and what's enemies and what's not. You get here. Dun 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 dun. I guess we would know who this guy is if we watched the original series. Because I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. Now, their Megazord looks a bit different than ours. We'll just call him Mirror Man, since I'm not sure what he is. The boss, anyway, and I'm not sure what to call this. Birdman or something. I'm not real sure. I guess it's Birdman. I don't know. Then it kind of does if anybody's ever played the Godzilla games, it's kind of like the Godzilla fight scenes. Oh, I'm doing awful too. I punch you in the face. Gosh, he's gonna kill me. There's somebody going, you just lost. You're horrible at this. And yeah, I'm not very good at it. But anyway, you beat the stage, and then you go and you try to take down another stage. And I actually defeated him the first time I fought him. But, yeah. That's pretty much what you do. So, you know, but that's how the game goes. And I just wanted to show you guys the original. That's the only one I found that was the original that I could find. That was, you know, that. So, that's the ones that I have, though. That one's 4 difficulty levels, a password system, and battle mode in which player can practice fighting against any of the bosses. That's really all the ones I had to show you for there. Power Rangers is still, I think it's still being made today. I don't know which generation there is. I'm sure there's a ton of other games, maybe for like the Game Boy Advance and stuff, that's the newer Power Rangers and things like that, and then the ones that went on up through there. Tell you the truth, I lost interest in it. A lot of other people that were around my age group lost interest in it after the White Ranger came around and after that movie. It wasn't that it got bad, it was just that it was kind of stale after that point, and we just, the older we got, the just more we got away from it, and just didn't really care to watch it anymore. But, you know, for a time, and even for the different times and each different generation of it, you know, they have their you know, they have their fans and things of that nature, and just every generation is different, and every generation has its own fan base. Like I said, it's still going. This one, this particular one, like I just did this one, which is a Japanese TV show. It was going before we got Power Rangers over here, and it's still going over there. And it is something that they absolutely just go bonkers about and crazy about. And, you know, yeah, it came over here. And there was a lot of other TV shows that spun off, like VR Troopers and Beetleborgs. But I don't think any of them have spun off and have lasted as long as the Power Rangers did here. And like I said, I think they're still being made today. And there's probably other games, but I'm not familiar with those generations or the stories with them or anything like that. So I just kind of stick with the ones I know here, that I know, and that some of the other ones that are my age that they know. And like I said, I may do a playthrough of this one for the Nintendo, and maybe the Super Nintendo one that is the first one I showed you guys. I may do playthroughs of those. I have to see how far we can get or how well we can do on them. But I just wanted to kind of take you guys back to the 90s on that, where that was the main thing for a while there. It was it was a fad that went through and caught fire and just kind of kept catching fire. I remember my cousin Jim, he got into it, and he went from the Green White Ranger series a little bit forward onto the next generation. A little bit further than where I went on it. Now, I have seen some of the next generation ones, and I really can't say anything bad, but they've just made them, they've just tried to make them different, and it's a testament to the creators, you know, that you've made those things, and you've made it last as long as you have, you know, changing up things, and you know, changing up what they do, you know, because I think in one of them, I think they're like a rescue squad, and and I think they drive like different motorcycles or have different weapons. I think there's only like a couple of them on like one show and things like that, but it's just all kinds of different ones that they have throughout the years. But it did start back in like 91, 92 area, and it's carried on for quite some time. So, but good series, pretty good games. There's a couple in there that's not really good, but you know, most of them are pretty good. So it is different. They did try to capitalize on it. They're not all horrible. Until next time, we will see you later.